For crime victims, when the criminal law courts don't bring justice, the civil court system can give you compensation. How does this work? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Larry DeMarco, and I'm a personal injury, workers' compensation, and family law lawyer in Pennsylvania. Let's compare and contrast the difference between criminal and civil court, and how both play important roles for crime victims. Victims don't have to choose to go through one or the other. The victims can do both. Both systems serve different purposes and functions, so a victim has a better chance of being made whole by entering both systems if possible. First issue of comparison: who has control of the case? In the criminal system, the state or government is in control. The government pays and controls the criminal attorney, called the district attorney, DA, or prosecutor. He or she makes the decisions and is the party of interest. On the legal caption, it's the state or the people or the Commonwealth versus the defendant. The victim is considered a witness rather than a party and doesn't have any authority, control, decision-making ability, or right to information. That's the criminal system. Although the victim is supposed to be considered, he or she doesn't have to be. The primary issue isn't the victim, it's the defendant. Punishing and or rehabilitating the defendant so he or she isn't a menace to society. Now, in contrast, in a civil system, the victim is in control, retains the attorney, and is entitled to much more information and is the party listed on the caption. The victim controls the outcome of the case, not the state or any other third party. Second issue of comparison: what's at risk for the defendant and what can be gained by the plaintiff? In the criminal court, the defendant can lose his or her liberty and can potentially face incarceration for the purpose of punishment and rehabilitation. Whereas in the civil case, the issue is only how much the defendant has to pay to the plaintiff without a risk of freedom or liberty. Civil court's interested in making the plaintiff whole with little interest in punishing or rehabilitating the defendant. For the crime victim in criminal court, he or she can only get restitution, which is out-of-pocket expenses caused by damages to the victim of the crime. The judge may or may not order the defendant to reimburse the victim, but doesn't have to in criminal court. In civil court, the whole purpose of the case is so the plaintiff can get money for all consequential damages, such as wage loss, pain and suffering, and even money to punish the defendant. Third issue: how difficult is it for the prosecution or plaintiff to win? Stated another way, what's the burden of proof on the prosecution or plaintiff? In a criminal case, it's the highest burden of proof known to law, beyond a reasonable doubt. To measure that, it's like requiring a jury to be about 95% sure that the prosecution is correct. In addition to that high burden in criminal law, we're going to give the defendant a presumption of innocence. The reason why they make this so hard is because our society places a heavy value on personal freedom. We're not going to put someone away unless we're pretty darn sure. Whereas in contrast, in civil court, we only need to tip the scale of justice ever so slight. Only need to be 51% sure that the plaintiff is right, and there's no presumption of innocence protecting the defendant, and the defendant has no constitutional rights. So you see, in civil court, it's much easier because it's not about taking away someone's liberty. It's only about money. Fourth issue of comparison: who are the parties? In the criminal justice system, it's always the same: the state versus the defendant. In contrast, in a civil case, we can have different plaintiffs other than the victim, and we can have different defendants other than the criminal. The plaintiff can be family members, survivors of a dead victim, or adults who are responsible for the victim. The defendant can be the criminal. individuals who assisted the criminal, or some other people or companies whose negligence permitted the crime to happen. I hope this summary has given you a general idea of the differences between criminal and civil court and the different avenues that a crime victim has and the availability of both. Thanks for watching. Please watch other informational videos on my YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for new videos. To learn more about my legal services, click the links in the description section of this YouTube video or on one of the video links on your screen. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.